Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to commend the maker of the statement for bringing these important issues to the floor. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to just add one or two things to what he said. Mr. Speaker, on a day like this where we are commemorating human rights, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to talk about promoting equality and non-discrimination against women. Mr. Speaker, the charge here is simple. All forms of discrimination against women must end. On a day where we are amplifying and we are all speaking about human rights, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say that for women, we face a lot of discrimination in the political sphere and outside the political sphere, Mr. Speaker. And in order for this to change, Mr. Speaker, there are a few things that we all know must happen. Women must be given an equal voice. Mr. Speaker, if we all agree that we would like to see a larger number of women, would like to move up from 40 out of 275 for female representation in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, we all know that giving women an equal voice in the hierarchy, whether political and all spheres, we need to give women an equal. They can also add to national development. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to talk about increasing women's access to economic opportunities, Mr. Speaker. We know that if this is done, we know how women run the homes. We know that increasing access to economic opportunities goes a long way to prevent women from being discriminated against. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that a lot of women in abusive relationships cannot leave because of the economic aspects. On a day where we are amplifying and we are talking about human rights, and we all agree that women's rights is human rights, Mr. Speaker, we would like to appeal to everybody to take this charge to ensure that all forms of discrimination against women as well as children ends. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.